Guys, our show sponsor, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, has a huge offer for this weekend's big game. All new customers can get 56-1 odds on either football team to win this weekend. All you have to do is bet just $5 to win $280 in free bets if your team is victorious. You heard me right. Bet just $5 on either team to win this weekend, and DraftKings Sportsbook will give new customers an additional $280 in free bets if the team they choose wins. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you still have something to play for this weekend. Everyone can play for their share of millions of dollars in total prizes with DraftKings daily fantasy football contests. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code SONNEN to get 56-1 odds on this weekend's big game. Bet just $5 to win $280 in free bets if your team wins. That's promo code SONNEN at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Official prediction, Derrick Lewis versus Tai Tuivasa. Guys, I'm very confident when I tell you Derrick's going to win this fight. I even think this fight was set up for Derrick to go out there and to be able to perform and do what Derrick does. Now, I do not mean that as an insult to Tai. I know it sounded like one. Tai has won me over completely. I hate the shoey. I think it's disgusting. That's my opinion. That doesn't mean I hate and find Tai Tuivasa disgusting. I was in T-Mobile for Tai Tuivasa's last fight. Everybody talking about we're going to do a shoey. Oh, it's going to be shoey. Tell me, how do you guys even know what the shoey? You don't know who Tai Tuivasa is. He walked through that curtain. 15,000 people blew their tops. At the point in the evening that he came out, nobody had received the reception that Tuivasa did. Then the fight was fantastic. And the fight was fantastic because it's not what you expect. Like, you would expect this back in the 1990s. You would expect a brawling street fighter that just likes to do that on a Saturday night to do okay back in the 1990s. But now it's about skill, and it's about athleticism, and it's about martial arts. That's not what Tai Tuivasa brings. This is a street fighter. If there is anybody in major organization to this day that you could label their style as brawler, brawlers are gone until Tai Tuivasa. He walks out there Tank Abbott style. He walks you down. He is not afraid of taking a punch. He's willing to take one to give you one. It's one of those things. He's very boxing heavy. You're not going to see kicks from Tai Tuivasa. You're not going to see a lot of grappling from him. Don't expect to see a Kimura or a go-go plotter, right? But you're going to see ones and twos. And he follows the most basic rule, which is, if I can touch you once, I can touch you again. If I can touch you twice, nothing's stopping me from three. What Coach Clayton calls punches and punches. That's Tai Tuivasa. Boom, there it is. I'm out. He's a rough brawler with great power, a great chin, who's not scared to fight. Derrick Lewis is more than that. Derrick Lewis has all of those same characteristics that I just named. He is a big man. He's been through the system where he had to fight. At times, he didn't even want to fight. He's not scared. And a lot of guys are. That might sound very small for you. Everybody else you're going to see on TV is going to be scared. But it's of something. Is it scared of being hit? Is it scared of failure? Is it an athlete's biggest fear, which is he's scared of exhaustion? Is he scared to go to the ground? Is he scared of just the entire atmosphere? But everybody's going to have some level of fear, except those two. It's just not the way they're wired. They're the same guy in that regard. If this was a boxing match, pure boxing match, I think you guys are agreeing with me that this greatly sways towards Derrick. The mere fact that Derrick jumped on the landmine known as Surreal Gone in Houston, his hometown, last time, goes from a championship fight to fighting a guy who isn't ranked. Can we all at least agree, in theory, somebody is returning a favor to Derrick? Can we agree on that? Okay. So you guys are probably like me. You can't wait for the fight. It's going to be so fun. But you see where Derrick's going to win. Hold that thought. Because then we got to ask you the follow-up question, right? And I'm just going to say, if Derrick wins, how? And you're probably going to come to the conclusion that he knocks Tai Tuivasa out, that he's going to go out there and trade punches. I agree with you. But now let's just for fun say they're going to box. We're not even calling it MMA. They're going Queensberry rules. Do you see how that just changed your opinion? And you just saw, whoa, this fight just got a lot closer? this could be anybody's ball game, particularly in the first 2 rounds. Do you see how your mind just did that? And I only submit that for you because that's what they're going to do. Derrick is a much better wrestler, but he doesn't have that fast, explosive wrestling ability. He's too big of a guy. Right, a really big, just has hard time. You got to bend your knees, you got to change elevation, then you got to get a hold of your opponent. Tuivasa is very big around the waist. That's going to push him out. Like there's just nowhere for him to go. There's nowhere for Derrick to turn to. He's going to have to punch with Tai Tuivasa. And if we can all agree that in a boxing fight, they are very close. They're very competitive, particularly for the first 2 rounds. Derrick Lewis has a significant advantage once they get to round 3. That's just a built-in byproduct of fighting for championships. When you are training for 5-round contests, when you go out there and compete in a 5-round contest, when you now no longer have a fear and you know how to pace and prepare yourself for 25 minutes, 15 minutes feels like a night off. And there's not very many fighters that are ever going to feel that. Being out there, I can just say I come from a wrestling background, so difficult. 7 minutes under the collegiate rules, you would be exhausted after 7 minutes. But those 7 minutes are still very different when a guy's trying to score points on you, as opposed to 15 minutes where a guy's trying to hurt you. So you're never going to get over the hurdle of 15 minutes. That's longer than grappling matches go. That's longer than boxing matches go. That's longer than wrestling matches go. I mean, just by example, you've really got out a bite off a lot to be able to go in there and prepare and have the confidence to push for 15 minutes. And the only way you can get out of that is if you get elevated to a 25-minute fight. Now, just like I'm telling you that wrestling was the hardest thing I ever did, and it was 7 minutes, wrestling for 7 minutes was nothing after I did MMA for 10 years. I would go in the college rooms, and it'd be hard, and I'd have a hard time, don't get me wrong, but it was nothing. The bell's up, that's it. I'm used to 5-minute rounds. I got a 3-minute round, and I got 2-minute rounds. Overtime was 30 seconds. Like, this was nothing. But for me to have that, look at what I had to go through. I had to double the time and go into a different sport where a guy's trying to hurt me, and I only submit for you. You can never get out of that fear of the bubble of 15 minutes and where's my level of conditioning unless you go and do what Derrick did, which is multiple main events, multiple world title fights, multiple training camps preparing for 25 minutes. So I think that's really going to help Derrick. I got to give round 3 to Derrick right now. How close can we get to round 3? Because I think everybody is so out there. Somebody's getting knocked out. Don't blink, right? All that. Who wins in this fight? The fans, right? All that stuff that some dork says to you. But every now and then the dork's right. Like every now and then that is, you know exactly what you're getting into. And I do think as it goes later, Derrick's going to be all right. But Derrick's going to take some shots in that first round. Matt Mitrione put Derrick Lewis down. Ciryl Gane did not. And I bring up Matt Mitrione, guys, that was 15 years ago. I feel like I could come to you with a straight face and tell you Derrick Lewis has never been put down. Now, if you're a brilliant, you're saying, well, 15 years ago. I mean, what's the statute of limitations, though, right? What's the statute where you get a redo? When you get onto the main cards and the co-main events and the main event spots, you're selling out arenas in your hometown. Like, what's the statute? I feel as though I could tell you with a straight face, Derrick Lewis has not been put down. Do I need to put a comma and finish the thought in the last 15 years? Do I have to do that? Now, there's a first time for everything. But I don't see Derrick falling over. I do think Tai, and it's not because Tai's chin isn't as good as Derrick, by the way. Tai takes risks. One of the reasons you all love him, it's not because he's drinking suds out of a dirty boot. It's the way that he goes out there and competes. When I tell you that Tai Tuivasa is not scared to fight, the very first guy I ever met in this sport, very first guy I ever trained with was Tank Abbott. And I'm telling you, Tai Tuivasa reminds me the first guy ever to throw back to the great Tank Abbott where he really wants to be there. You could turn the cameras off. You could take the people away. You don't have to promise a check at the end of the night. Tank Abbott would have showed up. Tai Tuivasa is going to show up. And he's proving that walking into enemy territory of the guy's hometown who is just the #1 contender. It means a lot. But there's also risk. He doesn't care. Tai Tuivasa does not care if he loses this fight. He's going out there to try, but he's going out there to hit and hurt Derrick Lewis. Whatever the hell happens in between then, he's cool in his mind. That's a dangerous guy. This is a fun fight. I'm taking Derrick. In the wrestling department, it's not close. It's Derrick. In the jiu-jitsu department, it's not close. It's Derrick. They aren't going to be wrestling, and they're not going to be doing jiu-jitsu. This isn't Submission Underground. This is the unified rules of MMA. And you have an up-and-comer with some fire in his hands in Tai Tuivasa against a very polished, absolute upper echelon of heavyweight in Derrick Lewis. I think that you put your Colombo rain jacket on, you go to the betting window, you put $10 down on the Black Beast. But that doesn't mean there's not a couple of question marks, and it doesn't mean we're not going to have some fun.